Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew a proper hip pad tight with a very neat finishing, something that you can always wear inside any outfit of your choice, something that you can always make for your clients to wear inside those outfits that you've given them so that the hip region will be more pronounced, something that you can even always sew and sell to make a lot of money. Like these dresses, you would not believe that hip pad was worn inside these dresses because the hip pad was made flawlessly, and in this tutorial you are going to be learning how to cut and sew hip pad that will give you that flawless effect that hardly will anybody notice that you are putting on hip pad. This odd red dress as well, you won't believe that hip pad was worn inside. The actual hip of the person wearing it is 39, and after hip padding the hip moved to 43. In as much as since you are sewing it into a tight, you have to bring out your pad pattern from your tight. At the same time, you can also bring it out from a pencil skirt. So if you have to bring it out from a pencil skirt, after drafting your pencil skirt, you come down from your waistline by 2 inches, and then on your hip line you are going to go inward with 6 inches, and then on the full length of that short pencil skirt, from it you go upward by 3 inches, and you will connect all these points together. And that is it for the front panel of your pad, I mean the foam itself. And when it comes to the back, from the waistline you will come downward with 2 inches, and moving from the center back panel towards the side, you're going to measure 2 inches from center to side, 2 inches on the hip line. Then from the full length you are going to come upward with 2 inches, not with 3 inches like you did for the front panel, and you will connect these points together. Please do not forget that all of this you are marking, you are going to be excluding your sewing allowance. If you've added sewing allowance to your pattern, you will exclude it. Like, look at my marking, is not starting from my sewing allowance, it's starting from my actual measurement. That is if you want to cut out your foam pattern, the foam you are using for the hip pad, not the tight now, the foam itself, if you want to cut out the pattern from a short pencil skirt. At the same time, you can also cut out your pattern from your tight pattern directly, which will save time, which is what I would advise you to do anytime you want to cut hip pad and you want to use it to sew hip tight. Like anytime you are sewing that hip pad into a tight, like I'll teach you soon in this video, just mark out your normal tight like short tight measurement, the fitted one. Since this hip pad mostly is sewn with a stretchy fabric, I will advise that you don't even add any sewing allowance because it will end up being very stretchy. Now this is my short pattern, like my tight pattern. I already marked out my hip pad pattern on top of it as well for the front and for the back. Then I transferred the tight pattern into my lycra fabric. First I cut out the tight for the front and for the back. Then after doing this, I proceeded to cutting out the back pattern from the tight pattern, and I cut it on my foam. Two from each pattern. Be cutting two back and then two front. Then when you're done cutting, it is very important that you label. You just have to label. As the two of them is on each other like this, you'll be labeling up and down. Then you're going to be labeling front and back. Then you'll be labeling arrow indicating front going to back and back going to front. So when you are done labeling, you will go to the opposite of where your arrow is facing, like the opposite side of where your arrow is facing. It's that side that you are going to be chopping the way I'm doing. You will chop it very flat and neat. Is this chopping that determines how flawless your hip tight will be, honestly. Whether you are sewing it as a tight or you are sewing it on your outfit directly, is the way you chop it that will determine how flawless it will be. So you will chop it as flat as possible, and you will chop it like 1.5 inch inward on the edge from up to down for all the 4 panels. Don't forget that the side you are chopping is the opposite direction of where your arrow is facing. Where your arrow is facing is the shaping side, I mean the hip side, the side that will come together as front and back, and the opposite side of it is the side that is going towards your center front and your center back, and is that side that you are chopping. If at this point you are still with me and you've not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and don't just subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when next I upload a new tutorial on this channel. And at the same time, you may be wondering why I have a lot of crowd surrounding me. I'm running my free 1 month upgrade class. This class is an upgrade class for 1 month. It's a physical class happening in my fashion academy. If you are interested, send a WhatsApp message or you send me a DM. In this class, you are going to be learning how to draft a basic bodies, how to take proper body measurement. You will also be learning how to draft manipulated outfits and then how to sew them. You'll be learning how to cut and sew bustier of different kinds, and you'll be learning how to cut and sew corsets of different kinds. And you'll also be learning embellishment, how to embellish your outfit, how to turn your corset that you've made into a proper outfit with all this kind of false wrapper that you see in all these Ashwebi dresses. If you're interested in that class, just send a WhatsApp message. After getting your foam ready, which is your part, the next to do is to join your tight. So you're going to be joining front and back together. Ideally when you want to sew trousers, the first thing you do is to join the crouch, front crouch and back crouch. But in this case, you're going to be joining one front and one back together on the side. Just join it with like 1 inch on the waistline. That is as if you are darting. So if you are using 1 inch on the other breast part of the tight, on the waistline you are going to be using 1.5 or 2 inches so that you can give that curve. And don't forget that this fabric is very, very stretchy. So after joining, that means you have 4, because you are cutting 4. You're cutting 8 in total, 4 front and 4 back, because you'll be using 1 to turn 1, so that when you flip your tights to the wrong side, you'll not be seeing the foam. Remember I said at the initial part of this tutorial that it will be like the neatest kind of finishing and sewing. So when you are done joining, that means you have 4 panels, one front, one back in 4 places. Then you arrange it the way I just did. You bring your foam. Please don't mix up your foam. That's why the labeling is very, very important at the stage of cutting. Up has to be up, down has to be down, then front has to be on front, and the back has to be on the back, and the side that you have chopped, that flat side, has to be the side facing the center front of your trouser, to the front and to the back. After this, there are 2 ways to fix this foam on your fabric, on the tight. You can either use hemming gum to gum it the way I'm doing. Just watch what I'm doing carefully, or you can sew it round. Another thing is, before you start using hemming gum to gum it or sew it round, you can either choose to interface your foam with stay. Is optional, because at the end of the day, this method that you are learning, you'll not be seeing the foam inside because you'll be turning it. You will turn it, that the inside will be as neat as the outside. So the advantage or the benefit of using hemming gum to gum your foam on your tight is that when you flip your tight to the wrong side, you will not be seeing the trace of the thread that you have used to stitch your foam on your tight on the wrong side. This is how it will be. And this is the one that is serving as the lining. Another thing is the one that is serving as the lining. You will make it like 1 inch shorter than the one that is serving as the actual fabric. So when I flipped it to the right side, look at what it's looking like. It's so flawless. You're not seeing any form of thread on it. And this is the lining. So that's the essence of using hemming gum to gum it. Another way is you can use your thread to sew it round on your fabric. It's just that when you flip it to the right side, you'll be seeing the thread that you used to sew it, you'll be seeing it round. So after you have gummed the 2 sides, the next is to put right side to right side. You're now going to be joining your crouch. You'll be joining crouch for front, and then you'll be joining crouch for back. But if the hip tight that you are sewing will have zip at the back, you don't have to join the crouch for the back at this point. Just leave it like that and join crouch for only the front. So you'll be joining the crouch for the lining and for the actual fabric, right side facing right side. So when I was done joining, this is what my hip pad tight is looking at like at this time. The next is to join the crouch. So you see the crouch, the way I'm putting the crouch together, you put it together like that and you will join across the crouch for the actual fabric and then for the lining. If at this point you are still here and you've not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when I start putting a new tutorial on this channel. So this is going to be the elastic on the waistband. For this elastic, I divided the waistline by 2 and I added 5 inches. That works perfectly for whatever the waistline you're working with. Divide the waistline by 2 and add 5 inches allowance to it. That will be the length of the elastic. And the width depends on how wide you want. This is a 4 inches elastic. The width is 4 inches. At the same time, they sell 6 inches. They also sell 2 inches. So it depends on what you want. But for the length, the waistline divided by 2 plus 5 inches. And because I said that this tight that I'm sewing, this hip pad will not have zip at the back, I had to turn my elastic. I joined it into a circle first before fixing it. So I'll be turning the waistline with this elastic band together. That means you are going to put your elastic inside the way I'm doing. Make sure that the part that you have covered the elastic up is facing the joining on the back crouch, directly facing the joining on the back crouch. Then you will bring the front and back, right side facing right side, the elastic in between both of them. Then you're going to stitch across the waistline to turn it. Then the part that you're going to be flipping it back to the right side is the width, the down of the short. Remember that we have not sewn the down, we have not turned the down of your tights. So it's from that side that you dip your hand inside after sewing the waistline and you flip it to the right side. When you are done doing this, the only place left for you to sew is now the lower part of your hip tight. So now on the right side, you are going to face right side to right side. You'll be facing it gradually. You will start from the outer part of the shaping, I mean from the side to the tie side. You start from the side outside to the tie. You'll be facing right side to right side bit by bit. You go from one direction and then to the other direction, and then you will leave like 1 inch where you will not be able to sew. If you follow this method correctly, you will see that it will get to a point where you can no longer turn it. You can no longer face right side to right side. You now use hemming gum to cover up that side. You do this for one side of the and the other side. And majorly that is it on how to cut and sew a neat and flawless hipper tight. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. If you're interested in my free 1 month upgrade class, send a DM or you send a WhatsApp message. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.